Hey everyone, so in this episode of Make It with Calvin, we're actually digging up an old project. Pretty shocking, isn't it? So, let's talk about it. So, if this doesn't look familiar, it's because it's from a project from, oh gosh, can't remember how many months ago. This was my micro display layout, and well, clearly things have changed since it was last on the show. Now, originally we had a piece of track running there, kind of in a switchback, and I was thinking, yeah, that'll work. But after it sat for a long time, I got to thinking that, you know what? This thing's really just being set up more for photos more than anything. So let me actually go back and modify it so that the 18-inch and the 30-inch, actually technically 18 and 30, although there is a little bit of 18 down there, gauge lines are separated. Let me actually go ahead and really separate the two of them. So that's what I've ended up doing here. So the way it works is we have the 30-inch, which is the dominant down here, which is represented by the gray gondola car here. We have that there, and we also have the 18-inch running in there as well, more for visual more than anything. And then we also have the 30-inch, the 18-inch, I mean, up here, which is now kind of been separated. So the concept is I can show off my 18-inch line up here, I can show off my 30-inch line down here, and by separating the two, it not only makes the layout look a little deeper, but it also just makes things easier as well. Now, as much as I'd love to make this completely operational, I'm thinking I will set this up so I could run it with radio controlled equipment. So if I wanted a shot of it, say pulling a car in and out or things like that, I can do that. But otherwise, this is pretty much just going to be for taking photos with and things like that. Now, if you're wondering why we have wax paper and a board up here, it's because this good stuff, great stuff, yeah, no pun intended with that, I've been using a little bit to fill in gaps and stuff, and I will have probably this somewhat more enclosed. My goal eventually is to pretty much enclose the sides on this side, the back obviously, and potentially even coming off the top to make it somewhat self-contained. Put in some multicolor LED lighting in there so I can set different lighting tones and things like that and go from there. But the problem is, as you can see from my fingers, there's a pretty big gap behind where the yellow locomotive is. And my thought was if I could just use a little great stuff in there, probably going to masking tape those tracks as well. The idea is just put a little bit in there. I'm not trying to do anything insane, but the idea is just to fill in the gaps. Because the concept is up here is either going to be, I'm still not 100% sure what this upper line is going to do, but I'm thinking it might run to like an off-site, maybe like a coal or a sand or both operation. And then over here we have like two different loading dock areas for different materials, just to make it a little more visually interesting. Probably put like a little factory or something like that right here. Things like that. I mean, the whole point behind this is I'm just trying to make it look more interesting. Have over there is like a little, say like passenger or team track or something like that. Like I said, it's to try and make things a little more interesting. It's nothing like I'm trying to go for super realism here. So enough of me talking. Let's see if this can of great stuff will actually work, because you can use it a couple of times. You can restart it, and it's been kind of sitting around for a couple of days, so I figure it's about $3 or $4 for a can, so 3 to 5. I mean, it's not that expensive, but it's kind of like there's no point in buying a full can if I don't have to just go for 3 seconds. So let me finish taping this up, and we'll go ahead and do that. And there's a reason why we're using the tape. It's because if you get this stuff on the tracks, well, you can somewhat remove it, but take it from me, who's figured out the hard way, it's just easier to tape over your track. so it's been a couple of hours. Obviously the back has been removed. I've come along with a knife and also just lightly sanded the back. I know it's not perfect, but when I actually go to install the side panels and stuff, I will make it better. But the point is, for now, I got that done. Now you'll notice over here, the foam actually swelled up this way. And originally I was thinking of just chopping it flat, but I really got to thinking and I'm like, you know what? That'd actually make a pretty cool scenic form. So I did come along and trim off the excess protrusions that are there. I'm thinking I might build a little retaining wall in those spots. It actually look pretty cool. But I'm actually going to keep this, probably put some scenery, maybe a little bit of trees or some bushes or something, just to kind of, you know, blend it into the backdrop a little bit better. Obviously along here, for the most part, will probably be a retaining wall for obvious reasons. I might do a little bit of rock. Well, we'll see about that. One other thing I did, that you probably can tell, is I did put a little bit of brown paint over here. I figured it's worth a little bit of time that it takes to do that. Eventually I am going to fill this in with resin to simulate water. We're going to have the little bridge pier right there, but pretty much that's where this is sitting at. So for the moment, that's where it's at. Obviously the next step will be building the enclosure sides and doing more scenery work. I have decided that I'm going to put some building flats here. And I'm actually thinking of doing a combination of a freight / passenger setup here. And the idea is the mine trains or whatever will kind of use this track here, and then this over here will kind of just be used as a station setup. So the train pulls in, the locomotive changes direction, and all that stuff. Now that I've said the mine setup, the train setup, I've actually thought I have a little ON18 Grant Line mining car, and that actually got me thinking it'd be kind of cool to set it up so it's like there's a little dumping operation over there. We'll see if we actually do that or not. A lot of this is pretty much just kind of like making it up as I go along, so we'll see what I end up coming up with. But like I said, this is being set up more for photo ops than it is actual operations. Although I will say that the ability to run a little bit of equipment on here will make it look cooler for videos and stuff, but that's not the end goal for it. So that'll conclude this video. I'm not exactly sure when the next update will be. It might be in the new year. So we'll see, but hope you enjoy, and I'll see you here next time on Make It With Calvin, where we're hopefully bringing old projects back from the dead. See you later.